Chris, you've had a chance to digest the Munster game now. What are your thoughts?
In large aspects, there was a lot of good there, and I think from a performance perspective, the boys answered a lot of the questions challenges that we put to them. Again, from a management perspective, we didn't see out a game from the 75th minute that we should have won. And so that part is disappointing, but again, from a learning perspective and from a group perspective, we've got to take that pain and make sure we learn from it, really, so we don't make the same silly mistakes again.
You've got a bonus point, obviously, so it wasn't the end of the world. What things do you need to improve on specifically?
Well, I just think big game moments, understanding that you go into the back of the first half and you're in control, and there's not that long to go before half time, and you've got a decent lead and you've got a team that you're putting under the pump, and we're starting to get really inroads there, and then we basically let the pressure valve off with a quick throw in, and something that we don't do, and little incidences like that, and then we're behind our sticks, and then those little things just start growing, momentum changes, and we go into the break at 2018 and position we shouldn't really be in. So,
and I suppose cutting out those mistakes with more games now, adding more and more pressure because we're getting to the business part of the season. Those are important lessons to learn.
I think so, and it's quite timely. And again, like with all performances, like every game that we play, we judge. Obviously results are part of it, but it's the performance and how we got there. And as like I say, we're not throwing the baby out with the bathwater yet. It's we've got a lot of learning. The key thing is what happens next with this group. If we don't turn up on Sunday and play well against Glasgow, and we don't show that we've learnt, then that's where it's going to be a real kick in the teeth.
And what of Glasgow then? Because they've suffered more than anybody from the international calls, and they're fallen off their form a little bit.
Yes, but they're a class outfit and they're well coached, and I think you just never ever take Glasgow lightly, and I think that they are, they're in a position where they need to win, and that makes a team dangerous. And a team potentially like Glasgow, if you don't get it right, they can open you up, as we've seen before. And
what about the fact that it's not at a great time, it's 1:30 on a Sunday? Do you have to sort of guard against, feel being a bit down about that?
No, we set our weeks up around the game days, and like for us, it'll just be a normal running week, regardless whether it's Friday, Thursday, Sunday. So again, what is the key point for us is that we've got to get back and get back on the horse again, and we've got to make sure that we get a result through quality performance on Sunday.
A lot's been said about the Ospreys, about the players coming through, the strength and depth that you've got. How important is that now at this stage of the season when your stars are away? Yeah.
Well, look, I think it is testament to the work that's done in the back room. You don't really see or hear a lot of that, but there's some quality youngsters coming through. I must stress that some of them are young. We've got to rely on those guys. We've got to back our coaching. We've got to back the system that we've got to bring them through. Some of those guys will get an opportunity. Some of them are going to make mistakes. They're going to do some really good stuff as well. It's just about, as a team, how we can make things easier for them when they come in as well. And that all we ask the players to do is just to do their job. If everyone can do that, it makes their role a lot easier, doesn't it?
And how do you approach the business end of the season as a whole now, to get in one of those top two places? Have you got a points target? Have you got a win target, or what? Do you just keep going?
Just keep going. Every game on its own merits. We don't look too far ahead, and we definitely don't get carried away. Look, we kind of there's rough sums done about what sort of points you're going to need, but Steve's in control of all that stuff. I just focus on getting our forwards right. But if we just can get our performances week in, week out, and get our training preparation done correctly every day, which we probably were guilty of during the week, then I think that we'll be there or thereabouts each week, and we'll be competitive. And if we learn from our mistakes, we'll come out on the right side.
A couple of issues on the periphery. One in, one out this week in the centre position. Corey Allen coming in from the Blues, and Josh Matavesi going. Talk about Corey first. What will he bring, do you think?
Well, he's a big boy, isn't he? And he's direct, and he's got a lovely skill set. So I think I know Griff and Steve have been looking at Corey for a while, and again, he's going to be an exciting addition to us, isn't it? And I think Josh has done a fantastic job for us, and still a job to be finished yet. And he's been classed. while he's been here and offered a hell of a lot, and he's got a new opportunity up in Newcastle. So, the best way I guess he can send off for us and we can help him with is to get a decent outcome this season, isn't it?
Yeah, a couple of eyebrows were raised when we heard that Josh was going, because he's been such an important, such a popular member of the squad. Yep. Without obviously you wouldn't know his contractual details, but is that a bit of a worry at all that English clubs are able to come in still and offer big money compared to perhaps what we can do in Wales?
Well, I think firstly, I'm probably not qualified enough to talk about the ins and outs of Josh's contract, but I think there's an arrangement being made between both clubs, so I think that's how it's come about, really.
And finally, the way the Pro12 is looking to go forward, there's been rumours of American teams coming in. Perhaps Boston and Houston, Germany, and the latest one now is Georgia.
Yep.
And what would your thoughts be on a Georgian team coming into the Pro12?
Well, I think they'd have, they definitely have the player depth. There's some quality players over there, and I know Milton Haig has been working very hard on the coaching structures and getting the support in place. I think they're showing that they're going to be a very competitive team coming forward, and they're only going to get better. So if the team like that joined, it's only going to be good for Georgian rugby, isn't it?
And finally, Georgia, Milton Haig, you said.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia for the Six Nations. What if Milton was in charge and Georgia got into the Six Nations? What could they bring to the Six Nations?
Look, I think if you just got to look back at the World Cup and have a look at what they've played, they've got a power base up front, but he's bringing skill and he's bringing flair to the back play, and it's something that, from a Georgian point of view, they've been working and developing on since the 2011 World Cup, and he's got some good resources around him to do that and some quality players. So I think you'd find a team that is going to be pretty well balanced in time. And like I say, in time, he's still got a lot of work to do there, but they're doing a really good job.
Oh, lovely. Thanks, guys. Thanks for that.
Chris, is Brian Mujati ready to make his debut? And what will he bring?
Yep, he's going to be in selection rotation. So again, we're just going to have a look during these next few days about how he's taken information on from last week and how he actions that at training. What will he bring? Well, we're hoping that he's going to bring some experience to the front row, and obviously try and lock down our right side of the scrum, and against a pretty good Glasgow scrum. So if he does get the nod, then that's what will be expected from him. He's been around quite a bit, but he's played in different systems, and he's going to take a little bit of time to get used to our system. So we're trying to accelerate that learning for him as quick as we can. So to answer your question, I think he's going to bring some power. I think he's going to bring some explosiveness. Maybe one or two mistakes in him, but I think that's what he's going to bring.
Can your supporters look forward to his debut this weekend?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think they'll get pretty excited pretty quick.
Is he in decent physical shape?
He's not as good as me, Mark, but harsh. No, he's in great nick, mate. I've never seen a tight head like it, honestly. He's incredible, Nick.
Right. How is Sam Parry's fitness?
Listen, a bit early to sort of talk to Sam about Sam. Again, it's just a day-to-day situation, and like he's presented back this morning, definitely his symptoms are getting better. Is he on the right track? Yep, but I don't know if he's going to be ready or not. We'll just have, the time will tell with these things. We've got to make sure his Swede's right, don't we? How
much development have you seen in him this season? And do you think he's got a chance of making that Wales summer tour?
I think Sam, and it's a discussion I had with someone the other day actually, when we brought him in from the Dragons, and we sat down in my kitchen actually, and Steve and I and Sam were talking about what he wanted to do, and from the kid that we talked to there to what the guy is today, there's a massive growth. He's he's really matured. He's got some experiences now. He's got the trust of the team. He trusts himself around his skills, which is a big thing for young guys to have confidence to do that. He applies himself every day, and that's all you can ask. And through that diligence around his preparation, and he's worked hard on his game, he's bearing the fruits of consistent performance. So, do I think should he be on that tour? That's not my call. Do I think he's good enough? Absolutely.
This game, how significant is it, for your top two aspirations?
Well, I think if you look at, all of those things in the mix, Mark, I think it's more important about what happens next after losing a game we should have won against Munster. That's what's important about this big bigger thing. Whether it's where it sits in terms of the season, we've still got games, that we can chase down if we needed to, but we're focusing purely on getting the result and the performance that we need, and it's about an 80-minute performance. That's what we're focused on.
With Wales this weekend, it's a difficult back row sort of conundrum for them. I'm guessing that you would always back Tipperick to make that back row.
Yep, absolutely. At the moment, I don't think you could leave him out, personally, but it's not my call, is it? So.
In your eyes, would he be undroppable? If you were on the selection panel.
I don't think anyone's undroppable. As long as his performances are consistent and it's within how they want to play and what they want to do, and he's, like I say, he's preparing as well as you can every week, then he plays. But again, if he doesn't, then it's up to them really, I guess, isn't it?